let's head to the short track. I think I'm starting to challenge myself to see how short I can make those intros.
That was great.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm starting to stack these up one after another. I thought I was retiring, and now I seem to be doing these 2 per weekend. So we're heading back to the short track. We haven't had a lot of short track skaters on. My timing with this young lady is impeccable, as she just destroyed the Canadian qualifiers. All the way from Montreal, we have Courtney Sarault. Good afternoon, Courtney.
Hi, good afternoon. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So let's start with something that I'm completely clueless about. So you guys did your fall qualifier. I understand the concept of doing a qualifier so you can decide who's making the team and going on the world tour. But I saw that you were a perfect 9 for 9, and I'm completely confused because I believe there's the 500,000 and the 15, which I wasn't even sure that you were a strong 500 skater. So how do you win 9 gold medals in 3 distances? A giant something that I missed. So please help me.
Well, over the summer, I've been definitely training my 500 meter, telling my coaches. I always knew that I could be good in the 5 because my top speed was good. It was just my start that was always lacking. And over the summer, I just, kept telling my coaches, like, I know I can be a 500 meter girl if you just give me a chance, just help me let me do a couple trainings that I want to do that's more specific for the 500 meter, and I'll show you that I can be a 500 meter person. So I think, I guess the years before, we all just decided one day that everyone was going to get specialized into certain distances, and then of course I was always doing good at the 1,000 and the 15. So in everyone's head it was okay, she's going to be the endurance athlete. But I felt like I had so much more to give, and I wanted to be a short track athlete, and that means all of the distances. And I mean, not everyone can do that, but I felt like if I put my mind to it, and if I worked at it, and I just at least had the opportunity to train for it, and was I wanted to stop being in this little bubble that I was put in of an endurance athlete, because I felt like I was capable of more. So I told my coach that, and they were a little bit reluctant at the start to kind of do that with me, because if you train something else, you might lose the opportunity to train your endurance even better and make that even better. But my debate was, well, I'm already good at that. If you already train me for the start, or for more power, that is my weakness, and that bringing my weakness better is going to actually make me better in the longer as well. So I'm can we just train my weaknesses? Because I want to stop training what I'm good at, and I want to just see what would happen if this summer I trained something I wasn't as good at. So finally, I was allowed to do, we changed one training a week to do something that was more for me. And when you do that, it's a little bit scary, because they put their trust in you, and then if you don't show up, or it's not the result that you were expecting or that you thought you could do, it can be thrown back in your face, see, we were right all along. So but I knew that I could do it. So I was just working on my start and some power things, and at the trials going in, I felt really good. My first half a lap was probably the best it's ever been. And of course, the endurance stuff has always just been more in my alley, I guess. It's more in my it's my strength. So me going into the 5, it was the first race of the competition. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna this. I was really happy that it was, because I was like, I have the most energy at the start of the competition. So I'm gonna see, and if I can do good in this 5, because it's the first one, then that means that I can like start setting myself up for a good weekend. Because always when it was the 5, it was always like my least best distance that I would do. So I was really hoping, like, if we can get this one off to a good start and I can get like a podium in the 5, then the rest of the week is just going to start like flowing and flowing, and I'm just going to fuel off of this 500 meter. So I went in and got to the A final, and I think I was in lane 2 for the A final. So I was really happy, because in the past I've always been like lane 3 or 4, or not like the best lane for a 500 meter, and it's a little bit of a disadvantage and things like that. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna have lane 1 or 2 and like mess this up, because finally I'm in like an advantage spot, and I'm not gonna let it like get away from me. So we started off, and it was Kim Boutin in front of me, and then I think about with 1 or 2 laps to go, I was able to make the pass and clench the gold. And I think that's probably the most excited I've been in a long time, for a national competition, especially.
Yeah.
To get that 500 meter win. So I was like, all right, game on.
Okay, so that's one, and thank you for your perspective on the 500. But help me understand how you win 9 gold medals with only 3 distances. So what is the format? What am I missing?
Oh, well, we do all of them 3 times.
Oh, really?
So it's the course of Saturday, Sunday we compete, 2-day break. We're back on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and then back Saturday, Sunday. And over those things, we are doing all the distances. So
Good
that
Lord.
day it's terrible, to say the least. I'm pretty sure like my hip was hanging off my body at the end of the competition. I was like, we had a week off actually just to recover, and I didn't do anything. I just laid in bed. I went to my friend's cottage for a couple days and just read my book outside. Like I
Good Lord.
didn't have any energy. It's like, it was, well, to be fair, it was a little bit more of an emotional roller coaster for me, as well as that physical roller coaster. So I was going into it with a little bit of a situation that happened beforehand that I was like ready for everything to happen, and then something that I didn't expect to happen happened. So it threw me for like a curveball. So emotionally I went in just like unwell a little bit, and I just had to like compartmentalize whatever was going on in my personal life and like show up and skate and do the best that I could. And it ended up being good, and I just realized that I really am tough. I really am that girl.
Okay, so I want to ask your opinion on something. So you know, 2 days of competition off, 2 days off, 2 days. So you do all these races. Did the 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th races really mean anything by the time you got to the end? Were people really able to make the team that maybe started off slower, or it feels like overkill to me? Am I wrong?
I think all the athletes did feel like it was a little bit of overkill.
Okay.
Like at some point, like getting to the 8th and the 9th one, we were like, really? You know, like my hips like off. I can't even move. We're all just dead. It's literally at that point, it's like, who's like the strongest survivor? It's not even about like,
Yeah.
I guess like skill or racing. It's like, who can survive this week like better. But then again, it is short track, and we have a lot of falls. We have a lot of like things that happen
Yeah.
that are super just unlucky. So we just wanted to make sure that the team was made and everyone had a chance, whether they had some unlucky moments or other people had lucky moments. We just wanted to make sure that since it's the Olympic selections, that everyone had a fair chance. Like, say I were to fall in a distance and then not have that distance that I wanted so bad, well, I would know that I have 2 other opportunities to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why we do it. I feel like 2 of every distance could have maybe just been a good one, but yeah, there was a lot of tired skaters after that, though, I'll say.
Does the 9 for 9 thing, does that matter? Is it a record? Is it interesting? Are people going to talk about it?
Actually, one of my teammates after my last race, she was like, I feel like for years now, we're all just gonna look back on this and be like, do you remember when Courtney just like won all 9 distances that one year? But no, I think it means something to me. I don't know if it's gonna go down in a history book or whatever. I don't really care, honestly. It means something to me.
Well, I would say if nothing else, it validates the good year that you had last year, and it shows that the arrow's pointed in the right direction. And we'll get into all that in a minute. But I would like to start with, your father's a professional athlete. Let's take a look. He's a good-looking guy. Look at that guy. So your father is a NHL hockey player and played all over the world. And I think, you were on skates probably before you can even remember. So Is it natural to think that Courtney was going to be a hockey player? Is that where you started?
Oh, God, no. Oh, I was like the most girly little princess ever. Like I had an older brother, so he was always the one that they were like putting into hockey, and I was just the one with like the little rental skates, or whenever I was so young, when we were all skating around, all the kids would go and skate on family skates or all these events with the ice. So my first pair of skates were the ones with like the 2 blades under it. When you literally can't skate, you just
Double runners.
step on on the ice. Like I think I knew how to skate before I knew how to walk or like run or anything else. So so they were always pushing my brother actually a lot in hockey. I mean, he was a guy, you can go further in hockey back then, especially, not now, because now the girls are coming up in hockey. Yeah. So that's really nice for a female sport and women's sports. So, so they were pushing my brother a lot because they knew that I wasn't really going to tackle that one, especially at my age when I was super girly and I liked my pink and I liked dresses and I liked wearing like my nice little things. We pushed more for figure skating with me, and I did it, but I think I just liked the costume more. I just liked like the outfit. They bought me like a really expensive pair of skates that my feet were gonna grow out of in like a couple months anyway. Yeah. And so I did that for a bit, any rink I could get or any chance I could get on the rink, but I found the instructors were a little bit too intense, like right from the jump, and I'm a little bit of like a space cadet, you could say. I like to be on the moon, and I like to be in like my own little head, and they weren't letting me just skate around and twirl around in my dress. They were trying to lock me in at a really young age.
How old are we talking?
I would say around like 5, 6, 7, around that age. And I started short track speed skating when I was 7, actually, and I fell in love with it like from the minute I stepped on the ice with the long blades. The environment, the coaches, like it wasn't really that like serious, so they just let me skate around. I remember one of my coaches would like literally swing me. I probably can't say this now, but he would like take me by the skates and swing me around with my head up over the ice, and like I thought that was like the most fun thing I've ever done. And so it really wasn't speed skating, but I thought that this sport, or whatever the heck I was coming to those random Tuesday afternoons, was like the best thing ever. So no, I loved it.
Was that in New Brunswick?
Yeah, that was my first time trying speed skating. Was in Dieppe, New Brunswick, at the rink there. And I think my brother was playing hockey in the other rink, and we just wanted something to do. And I do remember watching short track at the Olympics and being like, oh, they look really cool. And I remember a girl had like brown hair like me and a long ponytail swinging out the back, and I thought that was really cool. And that, you know, that's what like kids need, or to feel maybe like they can relate to someone, or if they look like someone, or just like little things like that. And I also thought that the sport was so cool. So yeah, so when I saw the sign in the rink and my parents were like, would you like to try that? I was like, absolutely, yes. And I did that for a while, but I actually one day in the car after one of my brother's hockey practices, everyone kind of just went silent, and they looked at me and they were like, Courtney, would you like to try hockey? Like, we never asked you, because you just weren't giving off that like you wanted to. But I was probably around like 12 or 13, and they were like, would you like to try it? And I was like, well, I could, you know, I'm not gonna say no. So they gave me all my brother's like hand-me-down equipment, of course, because I never get the new stuff. He always got the new stuff, and I always got the leftovers of his. So I had like all his shoulder pads and all that stuff, and I ended up having a really, really good year. Like, those hockey years of my life were some of the years I like still look back on and think that that was probably the most fun time of my life. Like at the age from 12 to like I think 17, I played hockey, and like the friendships I got with hockey, the team aspect I learned with hockey, all the experiences I got. And I represented Team New Brunswick. So I was playing AAA. Like I was really like high level in hockey, but around 17, I had to start deciding if I was going to do short track or hockey, because one practice was overlapping with the other one. And as much as I loved hockey, I couldn't envision my life without short track. So I think that's how I took my final decision.
What position did you play?
In hockey?
Yeah.
I was forward. I was like probably like left wing, right wing. I didn't really care, honestly. Think I played center like a couple times, but wasn't really for me. I was more on the wing, but it was really fun. It was really fun. I never put that much dedication into hockey though, to like be like the best. I was just lucky because I could skate really fast and stuff, but my hockey smarts was lacking a little bit, you could say. But because I never put much intention, because I always had short track that I liked too. Yeah. So I was just getting away with being good because I could skate good, and I was aggressive or things like that. So no, I still play like pond hockey and things like that in the winter, but not gonna go back to that.
How old do you think you know how old you were the first time you ever thought about Olympic competition for you?
I always dreamt of going to the Olympics, so I feel like it's different. I've always dreamt of going to the Olympics. I have a letter from when I was like maybe like 8 or 9 that was like a school project, and it was like you had to write a letter to anything that like you wanted or something. And I have this whole letter about wanting to go to the Olympics, and I hope one day I can go to the Olympics, and I'll try my very best, I promise. I want to go to the Olympics really bad. And so I feel that was always something I wanted to do or thought I could do. The year I thought that I could actually like start taking it a little bit more seriously and start really performing and getting like results was I was 18. That was the first time I was like, damn, I can really do this. Like, I gotta start locking in more because I feel I have like potential to be one of the best in the world. And that was actually at World Juniors in Poland. It's my second last year being a junior, and it was my first time getting a couple podiums on the like the junior world stage. So I think that's why I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, the year before went horribly, so I was kind of just going in for fun and didn't really know what to expect. And then as I was skating through the competition, I was just kept getting like up in the races. And then I still remember the feeling I felt before I had the A final. I was so excited just to like get in the A final, and I ended up getting silver, I think. So yeah, that was really fun. Yeah.
So how old were you when you first made the senior national team?
I was still a junior. I was 18 when I first competed at my first senior competition, and I got silver.
Really? 1500?
Yeah.
Of course.
It was against Suzanne Schulting, actually. It was the year coming back after the Olympics, and it was in Calgary. And I made it to the A final like I did in the juniors, and I was just like, oh, this is really cool. Like, first World Cup, and I'm just like here in the A final. All right, let's just like make the best of it. And I remember I was nervous, but I wasn't like, it's different when you skate back then versus when I skate now. I didn't have any expectations. I just like, I just wanted to skate, and I just wanted to try my best. And I feel like when I went through everything that was so difficult the past few years, I've had to like resort back to that. The reason why it was so fun anyway is because like, why did I have to give myself like expectations and put extra pressure on myself when it's really not even going to help me in the long run to have, like, yeah, you put expectations so you, or like you set goals so that you have something to chase and reach and work towards. But when I go into a race, I don't need to like feel anxiety about if I get a medal or not. I think like just try your best and skate and like screw everything else. Just try. And that was my attitude when I was 18 in the senior thing, because I didn't think that I was going to beat the seniors or anything like that. I didn't think I was going to lose, but I didn't expect to almost get gold my first World Cup race ever. Didn't think that was going to happen. So yeah, that was kind of the start of everything.
So before you had your challenging seasons recently, you did make the 22 games. So tell me about the path to getting there. Did you expect to be there? How was that experience? I mean, I will say almost everybody that I've talked to on this channel that was at the 22 games has all their own stories about, you know, all the challenges, obviously, for what was happening in the world. But take me through your experience in 22.
A little bit of a blur. I think I might have blocked a lot of things out of those Olympics as maybe a way to protect myself. I don't really know, but I just remember them not being as fun as I expected them to be. A lot was happening, like you said, in the world, and we were so isolated for months before, and being from New Brunswick too, my family wasn't around, not even from like a distance. Like, so I, you know, if we wanted to train, we couldn't go see anyone, we couldn't do anything. We just had to be isolated before, and that's fine because it's just some of the sacrifices that we had to make to reach our dream. But I feel like whatever was happening in the rink felt like that was like the world, that was like the all so powerful thing. So I didn't have anything else to change my mindset or change my attitude. It just kind of was the whole vibe that was happening in the rink, which was very serious and very like do all the steps, do everything right,
yeah.
do this and this and this. And like I've always been a girl that like I like things to be light, I like to have fun, I like to enjoy, and I like to have little moments of happiness. And I don't know, I just feel with COVID everything was really serious and really like, so as much as I'm like fun, if it gets too serious, I can get too serious, and I don't skate my best when I'm just like too like hyper focused on everything. And I do remember I went into that Olympics with a number 2 on my helmet, so I was ranked 2nd in the world, so everyone thought it was going to be like a great Olympics for me, but I felt like I was just watching a show that everyone was at, and I was like a bystander. Like it kind of felt like an out-of-body experience almost. I wasn't there emotionally. I didn't feel like I was like my true self when I was skating. I had nerves, I had doubts, I had all these things that I normally was so good at controlling and normally never. I mean, we all have doubts as athletes, but I just didn't feel like me. I don't know. It's hard to explain still till this day, but I just didn't feel like my true authentic self going into these games because of like all the isolation and everything that was going on, and I didn't take the time to try and reach out, or I didn't know what was happening at the time. And now that I look back, I'm like, I probably could have handled it like a lot better, but I did what I thought was right in the moment. I do feel like I'm a completely different woman now, though, going into these games, and I know that I won't let what happened at the last games affect me at these games. And I'm so strong with everything that I went through. I feel like I've experienced so many things and got through so many things that for me, this is just another competition, and I'm just excited to go and try. And I don't care what the outcome is. Of course, I have it in my head what I want to do, and I think I'm going to do everything in my power. I know I'm going to do everything in my power to get it, because I feel like I can finally go into it and say like, yeah, I can do this and I deserve this. And that's something that I didn't always have in my head. Like, can I really do this? Do I really deserve this? For some reason, I always knew I was capable of things, and that's why I was so good when I first got onto the world, like the senior circuit, because of being raised by an athletic family, or a dad that went pro, or a dad that when he put his mind to something, he achieved it. I feel like for us kids, we feel like we can achieve anything that we really work hard in, because we saw our own parent do it. So you're like sitting at the table with your athletic hero, and it doesn't seem like such a far-fetched dream, this big dream. But I felt like for some reason, sometimes I didn't always feel I deserved it as much as other people for some reason, which I don't know why. Like at the last Olympics, I remember watching like people's stories and people's things, and I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be cool, like when they get the medal. And I want to try and get a medal, but you know, if they get it over me, then big, like, I don't even know. Like, I sound like a maniac now that I'm saying it. Like, why the hell would I think like that? But I feel I just wasn't in like a good place mentally. But now I'm like, no, I deserve that. I went through the ringer, and like, I'm gonna come for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I deserve my knowing I can do it, and deserving it is like, now they're like interlinked, which I never had in the past, I find. So I think that's why this season I'm doing so good too, because I just genuinely, I'm caring about myself so much more. I'm loving myself so much more. I'm feeling like so much more deserving. And I think that's what's making all the difference for me, actually.
Well, I think now is the time to take us on that journey, because you had some real issues and they got compounded, and you had to go through a lot to get yourself back to competition. So when did things start going off the rails, and just take us down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, so it started in, I would say, 2023. That summer, after the Olympics and everything that happened, it left like a bittersweet feeling. I was like, I'm never gonna let myself be that down bad again. And I'm never gonna like not reach my goals, or I'm gonna be like one of the best in the world, and I'm gonna be the one to beat. So I went into the summer with like all gas, no brakes. Like, in my head, the more I trained, the more I did, the better I was going to be, and I was going to be able to reach this goal that I had in mind. And the training was just so hard and so much, and I never, when I was tired or I didn't sleep good that night, or I didn't have a good recovery, I never could admit to it that that's what I was feeling. And even when I was in the red zone and I knew I needed rest and I needed to stop, I kept pushing through it, because I was like, the more I push, the better I'll be. The more I do, I'm going to be stronger. So I stopped listening to my body and what my body was telling me, and I just started like really locking in. And I remember like still just, there was trainings I was doing, and I was in the gym doing like squats or power clean, and I would just like be bawling my eyes out, just like so tired, so exhausted. Like, I would do a power clean, barely get it up, and then just like there'd be so much emotion and tiredness, I would just start like instantly like bawling my eyes out, which I look back and I'm like, that's not really normal. Like,
No.
or on the ice, I would just be like crying from like pain and tiredness, and I would just like get up and keep going. And I feel bad for that girl. Like, when I look back, I'm like, I feel bad for her that she felt like she had to do that to herself to like reach this greatness that she wanted so bad. Because it's not about like, yeah, it's about working hard, it's about pushing yourself, but it's also, there's so much more to being a good athlete than just like doing stuff. It's the rest, the recovery, the nutrition, the, you know, the well-being of the athlete, the feeling good, the wanting to do it too, not just because you have to or you think you have to. And I didn't know that, so I went into the trials, and I went into these trials more tired, and it was kind of that big competition that we do. I think we did every distance twice, but I think it was in like 3 days, so it was all like really together. So it's one that like kills your body. But I went in, I was told that I was going to go in, and my goal was just to finish like top 5 and make the team, because I was going in a little bit tired, because the goal was to peak for the World Cups. But I was like, well, I want to make the World Cup team, so why am I tired going into this really hard competition? All that to say, I went in, and me being stubborn as hell, I was like, yeah, I'm not just coming top 5, I'm just gonna win the competition. Like, And there was races that I didn't have to like rip my quads, but I wanted to, because I just like, I'm such a racer at heart. I'm such a competitor at heart that I couldn't live with myself for just taking like the second spot or the third spot. I had to just go for that first spot. And after the competition, I think my quads were like gone. Like I had nothing left. It was everything over the summer was like killing me off slowly. And then that competition was like, there you go, now you're done. And after that competition, I just never came back up. It was like I just hit it down, and no matter what I did, no matter what I rested or anything, my body just wouldn't come back up. I felt terrible all the time, no energy, couldn't skate more than like 3 laps without really like having pain. But I pushed through it because I'm stubborn. So I did the season, and of course the season didn't go very well. And then it was like, all right, so now let's find like the excuses on why it's not going well. And it was like, okay, it's my blades in my boots, because it must be my blades in my boots feeling bad, but in reality, it's because my legs hurt and I can't skate anymore, and I don't feel pressure because I don't have any power in my legs. So it's like a big like months of blades in the boots, switching the blades in the boots, which was making it worse, which was, you know, trying to find these solutions as to why, instead of just like sitting with myself and realizing it was me that was down bad and needed to stop. But I didn't. And then with that became not getting as good results, and that gave me a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of disappointment. And I've always had this like fear of failure, and I was, like I said, always going into a race like, what color am I gonna get, turned into like, I need to just try and like survive not getting gapped in this race. So that fear of failure I had, it was like an exposure therapy the whole 2 years, because I just kept failing and failing. And that caused me like, I'm very emotional. I feel things like very deeply. I think it's one of the reasons why I'm also such a good skater, is because I skate with emotions, but it can come back to bite me sometimes, because they can also be like negative emotions. And I was like just feeling my losses like a personal attacks every time, and it was giving me so much anxiety. And then I would continue to not sleep, and I could like, you know, those things that just keep you up at night. Yeah. It was like those little things that happen. I was having a lot of those, like that was just keeping me up at night. So I wasn't sleeping, and then it just made the recovery even worse, and my body get even worse. And then my hormones started going out of whack, and my cortisol was like spiked through the ceiling. So I started gaining a lot of weight because I wasn't sleeping. My body wasn't working. My body basically went into like fight or flight, and it was like I was going out to like hunt or like stay in for the winter and hibernate and make sure I had enough food on my body to survive the winter. So I just started storing fat, but I was training 2-3 times a day. I would have had to sit in like the McDonald's parking lot for months to gain that much weight, like with how much exercise I was doing. So that wasn't making sense. So then that added extra stress, because I was like, now what's going on with my body? I don't even recognize myself. I had moon face from the high cortisol, and I've always had chubby cheeks, but it was like, it was next level chubby cheeks. I was like, it's not even my cheeks anymore. It's like my whole face was swollen. And then the embarrassment that comes with it too, like, oh, Courtney fell off because she just got fat, and, you know, she just, all the opinions that you would hear, that you would know people are saying when they didn't know anything that was going on, or they didn't know like the start of it, that also hurt. And I had to just go through, you know, that period of as well as just trying to learn how to not take criticism and just tell myself, I know what's happening and it's okay what they think. I'm not gonna let it bother me. So I had to go through that, as well as my exposure therapy to failing, and also my body was all out of whack. So I had to figure out a way to try and control that, but nothing was getting better, and my sleep wasn't getting better, and my body wasn't recovering at all. So I think I went through like 2 years of that. And then finally we went over to Belgium to take a test, because I was like, something's really wrong. Because for like, we were blaming it on the weight, we were blaming it on like the boots and the blades. But I was like, no, something's really wrong with me. Like, I don't feel good. And so we went to Belgium and we did this big test. You basically go in for the night, and then you wake up and you go down and they take your blood and they do all these tests on you. They give you a certain amount of food that you have to eat, and then they write everything that you ate, and then you have to take more blood and then fill out another questionnaire, and then you get on the bike and then you do a VO2 bike test. And then as you're doing that, they're taking your lactic, they're taking everything. And then after that, you have to go rest, and they give you like a specific amount of time to rest. And then you come back and then they give you a specific food to eat. And they're all like monitoring how the food that you're taking and your rest. And then you get on the bike and you do another VO2 bike test, maybe about an hour later, just to see. So it's basically like determining what your second workout looks like compared to your first workout. And it's a test I think they only do in Belgium, hence why we drove over there after the Netherlands. Basically, all that to say, I got my test results back, and it was non-functional overreaching with elements of overtraining. So it was like, I would do my first workout, and the second workout was never benefiting me because I was too tired and I wasn't recovering in time to make it a beneficial workout. So every time I would do that second workout, it was actually making me worse than if I just did one workout for the day and let my body calm down while it was in that period. Now I'm saying that I do my 2 workouts, everything's fine, I feel good, I feel I can give enough in both my workouts because my body's fine and I'm fine. But at the time, I had one effort in me, and after that, it was just not good. And so that told us a lot of things and made me feel like I wasn't crazy, at least. But after that, it was like, okay, now what? Like, now what do we do? Because it's like, okay, you just have to like rest. But as an athlete, you just don't want to rest, because I'm like, well, I have all this extra weight that I've like stored up, like that I have to get off for like next season. Next season's coming. I don't want to have another bad season. So all that like stress was still in my head, which was making my cortisol still high and my hormones still off. And so I started the summer slow, and with my team, we did like a Courtney get back to podium program. So I was doing trainings that were kind of just on my own with other people that were like more fun trainings or more things. Was a training that wasn't just speed skating, because I had like PTSD. I like couldn't go into the rink. I hated going into the rink. I hated like skating. I hated putting my suit on when I felt like I wasn't in like my best form or whatever. I hated like feeling like people were looking at me, or like I was like this failure. So I was doing like more outdoor training, some stairs and things like that, but not too much, so that it was getting so that I could still recover in time. But I felt like I was so far gone that I was like, am I ever actually gonna like be okay again? Like, is this ever gonna end? Like, and then right before the trials, I was still not feeling like great, and I was like, we did all this summer to try and fix me, but I don't feel like fixed. I don't feel like I took the magic pill and I'm like good to go. Like, there was just so much work that needed to be done that I was like, I don't have the time to do it. And then I fell. I fell in practice and I got a concussion. and it was like about a week before the trials, the Canadian Championships or something like that. And I had to be put on bed rest for like, my concussion lasted like a little over a month. It was a pretty good one. And that was my blessing in disguise, actually. And you don't really hear a lot of people say that their concussion is a blessing in disguise, but my concussion like saved my season, I would say. And at the time, I was like, really another thing to like add to it. But no, it was the first time that I told my body that rest would help me. Like, it was the first time I actually could like believe myself that not doing anything and bed rotting would benefit me. And before that, I couldn't see that, and I couldn't believe myself. And I was like, well, now it's my brain against my brain, and that's a tough one. Well, it's me versus me.
Yeah.
I'm no match to my brain. So that was the first time that I really rested, and it actually allowed us to do other tests that brought up things that were also happening with my heart variability. So because of the concussion, we had to do other tests that were kind of complementing what was going on with me before too. So it was like my heart was never at a resting state. So we would do tests, and it was like blamed on the concussion, but it was actually what I was feeling for like the past few years. And we finally were able to like, the woman doing it was like, you can't train twice. Like you don't, when you're like supposed to be resting, you're not resting. Your heart's like going like the heart variability is just not, you're not calm.
Yeah.
And even if I felt calm, or I was trying to be calm in the test, it wasn't calm.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped me actually gauge a better training program going back into skating by doing those tests as well after my concussion, after the rest. And I think I lost like, I did like 2 weeks of like nothing, like kind of bed rotting, and I think I lost like 10 pounds in like 2 weeks, like something like really. Wow. Like it was like I was holding on to this like this baggage, and when I allowed myself to like calm down, or really like was like, you need to stop, it just like it shed off me. So I was like, I was trying the whole time to just do stuff to lose weight, when in reality I just had to sit my butt down and get a concussion.
So did you have any other symptoms with the concussion? Was there the nausea or the dizziness or sensitivity to light and sound, or any of that stuff that kind of helped you like really shut it down?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had everything. I had in the morning it felt like someone punched my head 75 times before. Like I would wake up and my head would feel like just like, so like I would have a headache like from the minute I woke up, and so much just pressure in the head. And then as well as like when I would come back to try and do the protocol to training, well, I felt very tired too, like a lot of fatigue. But when I would try and get on the ice, I felt like things were moving faster than my eyes could like catch them. Like I felt like I was just like really all over the place, which was actually scary because that was my worst concussion I ever had. But I think that everything happens for a reason, and God was like, yeah, you got to sit this one out, girl. You got to have a bad one. I feel like I have to have something that really kicks me down for me to like be like, okay, maybe I'll stop.
So from the time that you truly shut it down, how much time elapsed before you were able to really start any kind of training again?
I would say I did like 3 weeks of like nothing. And then in the 4th week, I was starting to do like the protocol a little bit, which was like absolutely nothing. It was like a walk or a little like controlling my heart rate, couldn't go over like 120. So a week of like really nothing, and then the week after tried to do like some bike testing and some certain things for that, but I was always stuck on a certain level. So I would say like a month and a half I was really out, and then towards the end, coming up like 2 months, that's when I was getting back on ice and skating again. And I was unable to attend the first 2 World Cups in Montreal, actually. And that one hurt. That was bittersweet, because I was like been on the World Cup circuit for like 7 or 8 years and never really missed one. So, and I had a home crowd too. I was like, oh, this sucks, but I think that it was for the best. And it did make me like miss skating, and it did make me see like, okay, I'm gonna get better, and things are gonna be better, because I want to like be back there. I don't want to have to watch people live like what I want to be doing. So yeah, I just started really trying to help myself and focus on myself and be good to myself and do everything I needed to do to be a better athlete and come back from that. And that's why I say that I feel like I'm so much stronger now, because I had to do those things that maybe I wasn't doing in the past to be this better athlete, or feel those feelings that I would always avoid. And whatever I went through shaped me in a good way. And you don't always see it when you go through shitty times. You just can't, because it's so like such a negative feeling that you're feeling, and a maybe like victim mentality. Why me? Why is it happening to me? And you know, all I did was try and train and be the best, and now I got myself into this like 2-year ordeal. Why would that happen to me instead? And then trying to like search for my old self. I want to go back to how I was before I was like performing, and I was always good, and felt almost effortless. Like, I just want to be her again. I want to go back to that version of myself. But I think it was the day I decided that I didn't want to go back to my old self. I wanted to create a new version that was better and stronger. That's when things started connecting for me. And not chasing that old self, not because you're just chasing something that's in the past. That's not going to bring you to where you want to be in the future.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I did. I said, all right, the old Courtney's dead, I guess.
Yeah,
and
2.0.
We're gonna make a 2.0, and we're gonna just make a better one. So I truly feel I am better.
So when you got back on ice and you started training, and then you were eventually back competing again, was there one moment, you know, whether it was in a training or in a race, where you stood up and said, I'm back? Like, here it is. Was there a moment, or did it just kind of creep up on you to where you were like, holy shit, I actually feel good?
I will say it was last season, the European World Cups, or World Tour, sorry, European World Tour. I was like feeling more myself, feeling like I was getting my confidence back a little bit too, because we don't talk about how much that killed my confidence those 2 years. I felt so like I couldn't race the same, because I didn't have that confidence that I used to have going into the race. I didn't know where I was compared to other people. I had no clue what was going to happen every time I raced, or if it would be a good one or a bad one. So I was just kind of building back up my confidence. Something happened. I don't even know how it happened, but I came second originally, and I got myself back on the podium after 2 years of no podium. And for the years before that, I was getting on a podium like almost every world tour. And then I went like the 2-year streak of not one podium. And so that was the first time in 2 years that I got on the podium. And it was supposed to be silver, but like that, I don't even care if I had the gold, the silver, or the bronze. It felt like a gold. Like, it felt like I won. And it ended up being the person in front of me got disqualified. So I actually got the gold. And I was like, for all that tough luck that I had, I feel like someone just had my back, or someone was like, you know what, you deserve you deserve a little pat on the back. You deserve maybe a little luck here and there. So, yeah, so I got the gold, and I was like, I can go into a race and maybe feel not my best, not my complete self, not my confident self, and I can still get the job done. So what does that say about me? And I just fueled off of that. I was like, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going through your head, just try and see what happens. And I got a gold out of it. So I was like, all right, let's do this. And then the next world tour, I didn't medal, but I really liked how I skated, and I did feel like I was coming back, and I wasn't upset that I didn't medal. I was like, no, it's okay. It's gonna come for me, like, just to feel like I have a little bit of confidence back, and things were starting to feel more, I was starting to feel more in control, and I just started to have good feelings. But the time that I knew I was gonna do good was before World Championships in, where were the last World Championships? Beijing. Yep. Yeah, Beijing. So I don't know what it was, but I've like, normally before World Championships, like the week before, in my past, like I would have a full-blown crash out one training. If the training didn't go good, or if my speed didn't go good, I would go to the side and I would cry, because I would be like, well, this is how my World Champs is going to go. Yeah. And mind you, every time my World Champs did not go like that, it went good. But I would just like be too like in my head about it, that everything had to be perfect for it to be perfect, when it's not the case. And this one, I didn't care what I was doing. Like, the week before, I felt tired. I remember I felt super bad. My HRV was at like 24. Like, I was like seeing stars, and I was like, don't care. Like, don't care anymore. Just gonna skate. And because I had this weird gut feeling that it was just gonna work out for me. I was like, no, this is gonna be like my moment. And I knew for weeks before the competition. I knew the week before, even with everything, like not sleeping well, the HRV like bad, not feeling like my legs were all there under me, I was like, it's gonna be fine. I don't know what it was. It was like this weird feeling that I've never had. Like someone really was watching out for me or something. And I ended up having my best World Championships that I probably had since like back in the day, when it was like 2021. It was my best one. I was vice world champion in the 1,000 and in the 1,500 meter, and relay world champions. And I didn't compete in the 500 meter, but yeah, and I just knew that it was going to go good for me, and that I was going to be back. And then after that, we had like 3 weeks off season, and I was like, time to lock in. And yeah, and then I just had a great summer training and had a really good competition, 9 for 9, and I'm hoping to keep just fueling off of the good things, but not letting the hard things or the things that are there to throw you off get in the way. I think it's like, they're just there. They're just things, and it doesn't mean that you have to put value or attention on them, because at the end of the day, the Olympics comes around every 4 years, and then you're telling everyone, on this specific day, you have to be your best. Well, it's just not humanly possible. We're going to try our best to get there. But you know what? On that day, you might feel really bad. What are you going to do? Cry about it? No, you're going to get out there and you're going to try your best. Yeah. And see what happens. And I think that's what everything has taught me. It's just like, even I remember the last Olympics, my blades weren't feeling that good, and I was like getting in my head over it, just like feeling really insecure about it, and not like, but it's like, you know, I probably could have just went out and skated and stayed on my feet and been fine, instead of just like not wanting to even skate because I felt like I was gonna mess something up for everyone. So yeah, now I have a whole new mentality on short track and on skating and myself, and life and everything.
So how many World Tour stops will there be this season before the Olympics?
4.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
so we have
after
to-
the Olympics, is there another World Tour stop, or you just have a World Championship after that, or
Yeah.
nothing?
World
Worlds?
Championship.
Okay. And where is that one?
Montreal.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
we have
guys are
2
hosting
here.
Worlds.
Yeah, we have 2 the world tours are here,
Yep.
and the first 2, and then we go to Europe, and then we do the Olympics, and then we have back here for the World Championship. So that's really cool.
So let's, that was a great tour you took us on. Thank you for sharing so much detail and bringing us a little bit into your
Yeah.
world. I'd like now to watch a little bit of you in action.
Oh
So
boy.
the first race I'm going to pull up, I'm sorry to say I know this is in Kazakhstan, but I can't tell you the exact year. But I like this one just because I think, I'm not a short track expert. I will state that up front. But when I watch you skate, the first thing that I notice is that you're a strong, powerful skater. You're a little bit bigger than some of the other girls. You're taller.
Yeah.
So you are strong. You're hard to pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a damn good skater. Let's just say that. So let's watch this quick.
Yeah. I think it was 2022.
There you are. Coming around the outside. 1 to go. Almost from last place.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I
Was that
remember
a
race.
clean pass?
It didn't look like it because I almost fell, but we didn't hit. It was because I almost fell. And the day beforehand did the same thing to me. She did like late pass and got the gold, and I got the silver. And then so the next weekend I did the late pass. I almost fell. It took us both out, but then I got the gold, she got the silver. So we were kind of laughing about that. But that was in 2022, I think. I want to say that was a good competition for me. I will say I have some forever fans over there now because of that competition. They were loving me up over there. So, yeah, that was fun. No.
So let's talk. Can we talk strategy a little bit?
My coach actually told me not to go until the last 1 or 2 laps. And I was like, yeah, sure. But it was because we kind of wanted to try the strategy because the weekend before, I was in the front and Han was able to late pass me. So it was kind of like who's going to try and save the most legs out of her or I to get the gold. So the strategy going in was don't do anything really until the last lap or 2 laps. But in my head, I was like, okay, let's just not do anything at all until the last. So I was getting in the pack and getting in the crowd and really not skating good. And because I was so hyper focused on, okay, 2 laps I go, 2 laps I go. I forgot about racing the whole entire race before that. So that's why my strategy was probably a little bit strange in that one, but it worked out for me. Don't know how, but thank God. And that wouldn't be my ideal strategy, let's just say, but it worked in that circumstance. It worked.
So let's dive into a race situation. So it's a 1500 A final. And regardless of whatever lane you're starting in, I don't think that really matters in a 15 that much, but will you talk with your coach about the other competitors that are in the race? What are their racing styles? Do you talk about, do I want to be in the lead? Do I want to be in third with 2 to go? I mean, do you have time to dive into all that stuff?
So I'm a little special. We'll say I'm a little special. I'm really not I don't know how to put this in a way. I really don't care who I race. Like, I'm just going to try and race my race, how I see it in the moment. And I feel like when I think too much about my race, I don't do the things that I should do in my race, because as much as you have a plan, so I'm not saying I go in without a plan, because that's not true. I know where I want to be at a certain point and with a certain amount of laps to go. I know what I'm aiming for. I know it's that race I want to be in top 3 at least. I'll be in the top 3 position when this many laps to go. I better not be any further than top 3, because that's not what I want to do. Or if I am not in top 3, you better start moving your butt. So I do think of things that way. There's like, I say I rarely think about who I'm skating against. But with that said, we have to be a little bit smart. If I know that someone's in my race that normally has a lot of legs at the end, would it be very smart for me to race and use all my energy hitting everyone and trying to do little passes that don't really mean anything, when the person in my race is always stronger at the end, can outside if I exert too much energy? So I know, this is what I go into knowing. But with me, my coach doesn't, I'm with Mark now, and he doesn't really like get nervous for me, or he doesn't really say much to me. He looks at me and he's like, you know what you want to do? You want to like share it with me? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, maybe. Like, yeah, I'll probably like do this, and if that works out, I'll do that. Like, really not. I'm like, whatever. And he's like, all right, so maybe like just stay like top 3, and then like with 6 laps to go, or with this many laps to go, please don't fall any further back, okay? And I'm like, got it. And because I like, you have a plan in short track. With a plan, you're never gonna like be able to determine what happens in a short track race. It's all about feeling. If I like think that I'm gonna have this big grand plan that's gonna like win, and nothing at all in my plan goes like what happens, because it's short track and anything happens, and anyone can fall anywhere or be anywhere, or people can hit in front of you and throw out your whole plan, or someone's aggressive that race and you're not in the place you wanted to be. What am I going to do? Panic about it because it's not the plan? No. I'm always trying to find solutions with what is handed in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's how I go into my race. Just find a solution. You're there. Maybe it's not where you wanted to be, but you're going to find a solution. You're going to get out of it. And I don't know if it's maybe hockey helped me have that, like, I just know when things are going to happen. I can almost like feel it. It's like a vibration. Like I feel like I can be in that race and know when the right time to do something is. Like it's instincts for me. Yeah. Not as much as it's a plan. It's like my instincts, and I race off my instincts, and normally my instincts are really good, and I'm blessed to have that ability. Because while there's sometimes that I don't listen to my instincts because I'm a little bit lazy or something like that, and then those are the races I regret, when I didn't, like, my head and my heart told me to do that, and my stubborn self decided I wasn't going to do that, and that's why the race didn't work out the way I wanted it to go.
How different is a 1,000 from a 15?
1,000's way faster off the start. Like off the start, you want to like get in your position. You want to be more. It's a lot more aggressive off the start, and throughout the whole race, especially right now with the girls we have now and the level that we've created within the girls. The 1,000s are very intense and very aggressive, whereas the 15s still, you have a little bit of more time to kind of come up with a little strategy when there's a moment of a little bit less aggressiveness. But at the same time, at the end of the 15, it's everyone going off. everyone's using that little bit of energy they have left to make those passes and do those things. I'd say it's a little bit more chaotic at the end of a 15 than the end of 1,000, because the 1,000 is just like faster. It's starting to be more like a sprint, whereas before in the past, the 1,000s, the starts wouldn't maybe be like super fast. But now with our level, everyone's able to kind of cram out some good times, and some people also want to use that to their advantage, like their strength of being able to pull a fast 1,000. They know that they can hit that time, and there's no point in like wasting time like trying to race it strategically if everyone's just super aggressive.
I think the quality of the skating in the ladies draw right now is incredible. There's so many good skaters. So as we're sitting here in September, I mean, is it hyperbolic for me to say that I think there's probably 8 or 10 girls that could end up on the podium or winning the gold in Italy?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I would say whoever gets in the A final has a fair chance of getting it, just based on how they skate. Because it's not like back in the day when you just knew someone was like so much stronger than you and they would just like leave everyone in the dust. It's like whoever's in the A final, that's why it's so like cutthroat. It's, you need to race a good race. You need to be there, like emotionally, physically. You can't sleep for 1 second.
Yeah.
So, but that's what's going to make it so fun, I think. I think it's going to be something to watch.
Courtney Sarault 2.0. So let's look at you now as an incredible 500 skater. Let's watch this.
And they're off in the ladies 500 meter A final. We have Victoria Jean-Baptiste out in front. She is followed in second by Courtney Sarault. Présentement en troisième position, c'est Florence Brunel. En quatrième, Danae Blais. Et Anne-Sophie Bachand en cinquième. Quelle performance à date de Victoria Jean-Baptiste. 2 tours à faire. She is fighting off the champion so far this weekend, Courtney Sarault. There she goes, making her way by the outside. Courtney Sarault out in front, Jean-Baptiste in second. Watch out for Brunel now by the inside. And 9 for 9, ladies and gentlemen. Every single gold medal goes to Courtney Sarault.
I just like hearing him say, Courtney Sarault.
Sarault. Yeah, my French comes out. Yeah,
500 skater.
That was so fun. That was really fun. I honestly think I'm starting to have a little bit more fun in the 500 meters than the 1,000 and the 15s. Never thought I'd say that. I'm actually quite enjoying them, because you don't have to think as much.
Are you going to race the 500s on the world tour?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Nice.
We shall see. We shall see how I do.
Are you going to get on a podium this year in the 500?
That's a goal. That's a goal. I really think that I can do it. Of course, if everything's like lined up good, or I'm going to try and do everything in my power to try and have a good race before, so I'm not battling from lane 3 or 4 all the time. That's kind of trying to set myself up into a better position going in, so I can have less of a hard time. But it's definitely a goal. I do feel like I proved myself in the 500. I skated, all my teammates are very good in the 500 meter, and I was able to compete with them, and some of them have medaled at world tours before in the 500 meter, and I just showed that I am a challenger, I think. So
well, you won 3 out of 3.
I'm excited. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see, and I think my times are good, and with that said, I do have things I have to improve on. I do want to get better. I don't think that this is it for me. Hopefully I can keep improving throughout the whole season, and then in February be at my best self, hitting some times that I've not been hitting before. That's the goal. But I do really plan to see myself on a 500 meter podium.
Awesome.
on the world tour as well.
Do you guys know right now what the schedule is in the Olympics? Because the Olympics is like 13 days, right? So do you guys have any idea which days short track's running and which distances when?
That's more of a Will question.
Okay.
Or my neighbor / godmother, actually, she's got that on lock. Like I don't know what I just did there. Hi.
Yeah, nice.
She's got that on lockdown all the times, all the days and stuff like that. But it's always so weird with us because we have like one day it's just like heats and stuff, and then the next day you just go for the finals. And that was one thing that really tripped me out at the last Olympics is I love like fueling off of my heats and my semis and my finals. I get in my zone. I get like it just starts making me come into my final form.
Yeah.
By the time I get when I would just show up for the final, I'd be like, okay, it's like it's now. I don't have like another race to do that I can just like fuel off of and like use it. Like it was like, no, it's now. So, I do know the tickets are quite expensive. They're about, you can get some for 250 euros, but I think there's some for like 700 euros.
Good Lord.
And we have like 5 days of competition or something like that. So it's like, it's pricey if you're a parent wanting to watch all the days. It's a pricey one, that's for sure.
So I got one more queued up here. So this is more of your 9 for 9. So let's watch a little bit of this.
Oh,
Emmanuel Leclerc derrière elle. And with 6 laps to go, speed is picking up even more. Anne-Sophie Bachand maintenant en deuxième position. Blais, Bachand, Leclerc, McDougall, Jean-Baptiste, Courtney Sarault toujours en 6e position et Brunel en 7e. Chute de Victoria Jean-Baptiste. And there she goes by the outside. That is Courtney Sarault, the vice world champion, taking the lead with 3 laps to go. Danae Blais en deuxième, Bachand en 3e position, Leclerc, Brunel en 5e position. Elle n'a pas dit son dernier mot. Elle s'amène maintenant en 4e position de l'extérieur. Attention à Florence Brunel en 3e position. Dernier tour de piste. Here they come in the final lap. Sarault, Blais, Brunel now by the inside. Very, very tight in the last quarter. Unofficial winner, Courtney Sarault.
I will say my legs started feeling it in that one. I was like, oh, we're doing a lot of races these days.
You know what my favorite part of that was? My favorite part of that is while the video's playing, I get to watch you on the other screen watching the race. And you were like this.
Like it's the first time I've...
Yeah, like you'd never seen it before.
Like I didn't know it was going to happen.
Oh, hang on, get to the line.
Because I'll say that one pissed me off. That one I was like, I didn't like my performance in that one. I don't know, I tried a different strategy. I tried to race like from the back. But I felt like I was a little bit too casual with my outside pass and was on the outside for a little bit too long, wasting energy I didn't need to waste. And then when I got to the front, I was a little bit too casual in the front, but the hands behind the back, was chilling. So like the last lap, I was like, damn girl, you gotta skate. But I didn't like that feeling.
Well, I'm glad I pulled it up, but I think in my little dim view, I mean, you just look like an incredibly powerful skater, but you also clearly have some significant muscle endurance because the thousands and 15s are no joke. I mean, I've done a little bit of training on short track, and it's nothing hurts more than short track.
Yeah.
Good Lord, yeah. So I have mad respect for your muscle endurance. It's impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never found, I've played every sport. I've played rugby, I've played hockey, I've played soccer, I've played anything, you name it, and nothing has ever hurt me like short track has hurt me. It's really not for the weak.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a lap in 9 seconds, you spend about 8 seconds under just 100% load. Like, you get a little skull in the middle, and then you're back in the corner again, and you're trying to go fast at the same time. So it's Shawnee Davis used to. So he was in Milwaukee for a while, and we were blessed to be able to hang out with him for a few years, and he was all about short track, and he did it for a long time as a training tool. And he used to tell us that all the time. He's like, you want to get better, just you got to do more short track. Like, there's, you know, that's where it's at, brother. So yeah, he was an interesting cat.
Well, he was right. He was onto something. But I feel the same about if I were to do long track. I feel like it would benefit my short track, just because we really don't have the straightaway, and I feel like it would work some different muscles for me. I would like to do that. Maybe after this Olympics, I could venture out into long track a little bit.
So have you tried it at all?
Never. Well,
really?
I tried it once on the outdoor rink, but I never tried it with like the clap skates or anything like that.
Really?
I never gave it like a fair chance. So I would be because I do feel like I'm 5'8". I'm pretty tall. I feel like I have a good stride. I feel like it could be something in the future I would like to maybe give it a try. But I do love my short track so much.
I mean, you know, Sculpting has made a really nice transition. She was a badass last year, really good off the line. And Ariana has done some as well. She skated some pretty solid races also. I never did it, so I feel it's just really unfamiliar territory for me, but it could be a good challenge, something to get me out of my bubble, out of my shell, and maybe I'll try it with no one else watching for the first couple of weeks. Are you friends with any of the long trackers?
They've always been in Calgary, so
yeah, that's true.
We never were like super close all the time, but of course every time I see Ivani, we're always chatting, and Isabel's like sweetheart too. And Val, of course, because Val was short tracker. I was skating with Val short track, and then she decided to go long track. So friends with them. You know, we're always like rooting for each other here and there. Like some of the long track girls will reach out to me about my performance, and I'll reach out to them about their performance. So, though they seem like a really good group of girls, and I feel like I'd have a lot of fun there as well. So we never know, but my heart belongs to short track right now. I'm going to be loyal to short track, but maybe in the future you could see me on the long track stage.
Well, if you're looking for a place to try it without so many eyes, come down to Milwaukee. We would love to have you.
All right.
You are more than welcome. But first, you gotta crush it on the world tour, and then figure out how to get on some podiums in Torino.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for this year. I feel like I'm like the best physical form I've been in a long time. So.
Well,
I'm very excited.
That's 30% of it. I think you are in the best mental place that you've been, and that's incredibly important.
Exactly.
You're an easy one to root for. I love the story. I've been very lucky with some of my interviews lately, because I feel like I keep interacting with people that are like really in a good place and heading in a good direction. So. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be fun to have me on the podcast like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I would not be a fun girl at that point. But
well, especially because it you know, it's not like you woke up one day and there was this like message that said, here's everything that's wrong with you and here's what you need to do. It just, you got drowned in it before you even knew what was happening, and that's That's a terrible place to be, but it's awesome that you've come out the other side and you feel like you got something to offer yourself and the sport and the world.
Yeah.
So, all right, Courtney, you were an awesome guest. Take us out of here.
All right. Thanks for having me on the podcast. Courtney is out.